Today I'm going to be making my grandma's famous apricot lemon cake recipe. Now she made this when I was a small girl, so it's got to be at least 50 years old, and you're going to love this. So I start off, now she didn't have a food processor. She used a mixer to kind of grind up her apricots. My grandparents had these huge apricot trees, 2 apricot trees. I can't even tell you how big they were. They were gigantic, and the apricots were big and juicy and delicious. So I've always had an apricot tree, and these are some canned apricots. I drained most of the juice off, and let me show you how I make this delicious cake. So I'm going to start off by putting my apricots in the blender. And I'm also going to put some fresh apricots in this is actually a food processor. So I'm just going to throw about 5 or 6 fresh apricots right off my tree in the food processor. This is going to be so good. Boy, does this ever bring back memories. I can remember standing under that apricot tree and picking apricots that were like the size of baseballs. I've never seen such big apricots. And I can't imagine how old those trees must have been. You know, they were planted many years before I was born. All right, so I've got my apricots. To that, I'm going to add the juice of 1 large lemon. And I'm also going to add the zest from 1 large lemon. And I'm going to put all that in there. And I'm going to put my food processor on. It's all plugged in. We're going to turn it on. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we've got our apricot mixture all blended together. We're going to add the mix of 1 yellow cake mix. And I'm just going to throw this in here. And I'm going to blend this up with the apricots. Okay, to that, we're going to be adding our eggs. We're just going to mix those in. I'm going to put them in 3 different areas. And we're also going to add 1/2 cup of oil. Here's our oil. Now you could do this in a mixer as well as a food processor. I just happen to have had this out because I was, you know, putting together my apricots. But, you know, you could do it really with just about anything. There you go. Our cake mix is all put together. So I'm actually using my grandma's old bundt pan. This used to be my grandma's, then it went to my mom, and then it went to me. And it just comes out perfect. It's a cast iron pan, and it just cooks the cakes perfectly. So all I'm doing is pouring my cake mixture right into my pan. There's always a ton of cake left on this, so you gotta be really careful with these food processor blades. They're just something else. So when my grandma made this, there were no food processors. She would grind up those apricots, the fresh apricots. She actually had a grinder, and I have her grinder. I make zucchini relish with it every year. And then she would use a hand mixer for the rest of it. And look already what a gorgeous color this is. This is just such a good cake. Oh my goodness. If you want to impress your friends and family, you need to make this cake. It is so good. You've got the apricots, the lemon, the regular yellow cake mix alone is delicious. And you just want to kind of even it out. Now at this point, if you wanted to put some apricots over the top of it, some fresh apricots, you could do that. I'm not going to, because I'm going to be turning this over after it's baked and putting a glaze over it. And it is to die for. So I've got my oven preheated to 325 degrees. I'm going to put this in here. This should bake between 30 to 40 minutes, but we're going to check on it right at 30 minutes. While our cake's baking, we're gonna go ahead and make our glaze. You take 1 cup of powdered sugar and the juice from 1 large lemon. So this one's a nice juicy lemon. It's nice and soft. I'm gonna put this lemon in here, get all the juice out, squirting me too. But lemon juice is very good for you. All right, so there's a half. There's the other half. And you want this nice and juicy. You don't want to worry about, not being able to have enough juice. It's going to be a liquidy mixture. So I'm just going to take a little whisk and I'm going to just whisk this powdered sugar into the lemon juice. All right, so I am gonna put this in the refrigerator. Looks like I got a little seed in there. It happens. Just take it right out, no problem. And I'm gonna put a piece of plastic over this and stick it in the refrigerator, and I'm gonna wait until my cake is done and I'll show you the magic. So our cake is out of the oven. It is absolutely gorgeous. This whole house smells unbelievable. So let me show you my grandma's secret. So she took a wooden skewer and she would just kind of poke a couple of holes in it. Not a ton, just a couple, just like this. And then she would take a little bit of the topping here, and before we take it out of the pan, she would kind of drizzle it all over the inside of the cake. And she said that this way there was all kinds of glaze that went into the cake as well. So I'm gonna do it just the way she did it. Not too much, maybe about 3 or 4 tablespoons full. I wanna get it in these little crevices here. All right, so we're gonna leave that and we're gonna let this cool for about a half an hour. Then we're gonna turn it out and we're gonna finish glazing the top of it, and you are not gonna believe this cake. It's time to try our cake, and it's going to be extremely moist, so just be prepared. This is a little slice of heaven, and I'm not kidding. Look at that. It's really best with a little scoop of whipped cream, of course, and some fresh apricot. This is how my grandma served this dish. She would cut an apricot. Now you could cut it in half if that's how you prefer it. She cut hers into little tiny pieces and she just served it just like this. She put the little pieces of apricot on it. Just like that. We're gonna put a little piece on the side, and there you go. Let's give our apricot and lemon cake a little try. Oh my gosh, that is so unbelievably delicious. Oh my gosh. So good. Thank you for watching today. Please subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Give me a like, a thumbs up, or ring the bell for future notifications. And I'll see you guys next time. Enjoy.